Okay.
Okay.
Hello, folks. We are back. Welcome to Live with Ms. KIR, episode number 8 of Live with Ms. KIR via SBN, the Small Business Network, episode 316. We were having some technical issues going on, but we're back and we're going to proceed. So, everybody, show your love. I have two guests tonight, two spoken word artists. The first one I have is Poessence Spoken Word, and the second one
Hello.
is North Philly's Finest. So everybody out there in Facebook land, StreamYard land, YouTube, whatever land you're watching this on or will watch on, show your love.
What's going on, y'all?
Snap it up.
Hello, hello, hello.
Snap it up. Okay, everybody, get your incense, light your incense, get your tea, tilt your hats to the side, and get ready for some good spoken word on this Saturday night. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
most definitely.
Okay. So, I like to give a shout out to all those who are taking the time out to listen, who took the time out to listen before when we were having these technical problems and issues. And thank you for those who are watching now. And for those who are going to watch later, please make sure you put hashtag replay in the comments. Comment, like heart, and share and share and share. I am Tanisha, aka Ms. KIR, capital K, capital I, capital R. There's no Z nor S at the end. And again, this is Live with Ms. KIR via SBN, the Small Business Network, episode number 316 and episode number 8 for Live with Ms. KIR. So, Poessence, spoken word. Can you tell everyone again about yourself and who you are and where you're from?
Okay, well, my name is Poessence Spoken Word. Um, I reside in North Carolina. I'm from Pennsylvania. Um, I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a wife. I'm a mother, a sister, and an amazing friend.
Well, Dynamite Poessence. And North Philly's Finest, can you tell everybody out there in the social media streets who you are and where you're from?
Most definitely. First, thank you for having me back on your show. And I'm from North Philly originally, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Give shouts out to everybody in Philly and PA. I'm a pop first and foremost of 5 wonderful grandchildren. I'm a poet and a spoken word artist, and have been a spoken word artist now for some years.
All right. Show your love. Poets, come on. I know there's some poets wanting to hear. Come on, show your love for the poetic community. Snap those fingers out there. Snap those fingers. Light those incense. Sip that tea. Green, peppermint, whatever tea of your choice, and tilt your hats to the side. Okay, so Poessence,
Yes,
what
yes.
does poetry mean to you?
Poetry to me means freedom, clarity, healing. That's
Right
that's what it
on.
means to me.
Absolutely. I agree totally. Snap it up. North Philly's Finest, same question. What does poetry mean to you?
Well, as I said earlier, before we experienced technical difficulties beyond our control, um, poetry is self-expression. Allows people to feel exactly what the author is actually saying. The one who's giving the poetry, the poet is saying and relaying to the masses. Um, it allows a person to express themselves in such a way that where they see a perception of the world, others can interpret it the way they see it, and it may not necessarily be the way that the poet is saying it, and they were receiving it, but the person who's receiving it receives it in their individual way, which makes it even more a broader scope to self-expressionism.
All right. Well, dynamite. Very well said. Very well said. So,
Absolutely.
Poessence. Um, what is your style of poetry?
I would say I often say that my style is free range, free verse. I know that when I first got into poetry after like learning about it in school and not being so impressed with it, um, one of the biggest things that kind of threw me off was like trying to rhyme everything, you know,
Mhm.
and I was just like, it just didn't click with me. So when I really sat down and thought about poetry and writing and kind of looking at different types of forms of writing, yeah, I would say that mine is more free verse, free range.
Okay. I can dig that. I can dig that. North Philly's finest. Can you tell us, well, tell the viewers about your experience on the last live with Mz KIR appearance that you were on?
Surely. The first appearance I had on your show was wonderful. It was a great, like broadening experience for a wider audience. That if I haven't already reached certain circles, now I reach more individuals who hopefully get to know my poetry and also get to know me. I thought it was just the greatest experience to have, aside from just going on the stage and performing in front of people.
Okay. Knock it up. Come on, fellow poets. Show your love for us poets. Show your love. Show your love. One love for poetry. One love for poetry. Power of
Poetry,
poetry.
poetry to life.
Yep.
Yes, poetry for life. Absolutely. Back to you, Poessence. Um, can you do a piece for us?
Sure, sure. Um, the first one I'm gonna do is I fell in love with poetry.
Love that
I,
title.
I fell in love with poetry when I became stranded in a sea of emotion, and my tears demanded to be heard, but all I had was blank paper and whittled pencil. Since my yells fell on deaf ears and I was too strong to break, I let words etch my thoughts loudly. As I wrote myself free, I began to empty the baggage that hindered me from my escape. I was able to form sonnets with sturdy foundation, sails of haikus that harvested my exhales, tracking the wind's direction as the lyrics matched the wave's direction. I set sail on my journey of freedom to embrace my undying love for poetry and peace.
Yes, girl.
Nice, nice.
Thank you.
Yes. When you just said that title, I was thinking about the movie Brown Sugar, and when they were like, "When did you first fall in love?" So yeah, snap it
Right.
up.
That's right.
Hey. Okay, so Poessence, can you tell the audience what inspired that poem?
That was actually a writing prompt, and I've seen that writing prompt numerous times. I usually don't do them unless like it really touches me, but I happened to see that writing prompt on a Aries poet or Eros poet. I'm not sure how you say his name.
Mm.
Don't get me to line. I'm really bad with it, but he had happened to put that writing prompt up, and I scrolled through, and I was just like, you know what? Let me write about when I fell in love with poetry. I did one when I first started, but um which was like back in 2000. So I was like, you know what? I'm a little bit more versed. Let me see what happens. And that's what you got.
Okay. Yes. And also when you were saying earlier about rhyming, and because like a lot of my poems, they don't rhyme. I just write from the heart. And I think sometimes when they don't rhyme, sometimes it comes out much better. I feel I don't know, that might be just me, but yeah, so show your love, folks out there, for Poessence spoken word.
What's up?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, North Philly's finest.
In the house.
Um, can you do a poem for us?
Sure. This is not an excerpt from the book, but this is an excerpt from one of my previous works. From my previous book, because I wrote three already now. Thank God for that. And it's called More Than Intimate. And just like y'all was saying about, like, poetry doesn't necessarily have to have a rhyme scheme to it. It can just be, it can be free verse. It can be, but it doesn't have to have a particular rhythm to it. So this is just one called More Than Intimate. Let's see. I caught the glimpse of the moon in your eyes, and I no longer believe in coincidence. Tonight we meet as strangers, but by sunrise I'll know the curved walls of your soul as well as my own. Beneath my artist's tongue, your skin is a canvas, taut and eager, yearning for me to create a masterpiece. I waited my entire life for a moment like this. You allow me inside of you, holding my breath as I feel your lips mesh with my own. As they syncopate in unison. Paradoxal liabilities addressing those abandoned needs I believe to be long deceased, but she exhibits a life of peace, although she has a rough side too. And sometimes she trips, though never falls, because she's just too cool. I spent uncountable depths in your ebony ambiance as she confounds the words I speak. In addition to that, my knees go weak from just a glimpse of her profound symmetry. She is beyond my reality. Her Amazon physique makes her undoubtedly stand out. And I know I love her.
All right, snap it up out there. Show your love. Show your love. And for those out there watching, again, make sure that you like heart. And those who are going to watch later on, please remember to type in hashtag replay in the comments and share. Like heart, and share and share and share. Okay, North Philly's finest. What inspired that poem?
Um, as I was saying about love and relationships, love is the most profound thing that we can experience as humans. Not just it doesn't it has no restriction to cover to color. But some people love they are more intricate with each other, and the complexities of it, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of it. It makes us realize that the closeness that we grow with each other, it forges a bond that is unbreakable, especially when you profess love to someone unconditionally. And so that's part of the motivation as to why I wrote that poem.
Okay, well, dynamite. Snap it up.
Thank you.
Okay, Poessence.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, so poetry is a good outlet to express your feelings, whether it's happy, funny, sad, angry, and etc. Because I know this firsthand. Because sometimes people, as I said in the previous broadcast before we had the technical difficulties, sometimes people really try my kind demeanor, and I don't be liking it. And sometimes, I just want to just Bruce Lee them right in their neck, like. However, poetry has saved many a people. I just take the pen and the paper. because as my dearly departed friend used to say, safer on paper. So when people try it, I just feel like you tried it, but okay, I'm just going to just write it because, I like my freedom. I don't want to go to jail. So,
Nah, don't do that.
yeah. So
Right.
poetry has saved quite a few people in my journey. I like to say that, I do have an extreme amount of patience, the patience of a Shaolin monk. And sometimes people try to take advantage of that patience that I have and my extreme kindness. And I just feel like, okay, I'm just gonna write this, do a little Nas ether on paper instead of, Bruce Lee and people in their necks. So
Yeah, don't
yeah,
don't hit him with your Wu-Tang style.
exactly. Protect your neck. Protect your neck.
Exactly. The art of chess boxing, they don't need that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Um and so Poessence, what are some poems that you've done that have come from those various moods?
Oh my goodness. I have written a lot of poems. Um to name them off the top of my head would be like saying that all of my poems have titles, and they don't. Um but I prefer to write. If I say a more or less a mood, I prefer to write when I'm happy or I'm chill. I very seldom like to write when I'm sad. Um or angry because it comes out really gloomy, and matter of fact, I did write one. It it has no title, but it was definitely one of those that was like the first time I performed it, I was like, I gotta make sure ain't no kids in the audience because this, yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh,
So
I
I
feel
stay,
you.
I stay away from writing when I'm angry. It sounds like something I might have to be on the first 48. I don't want to be there. Mm-mm, none
Parental
like
discretion is advised.
yes,
Girl, I
parental
feel you.
discretion advised because I mean, yeah, yeah. It was now that I think about, I actually looked at it the other day and I was like, yeah, I can't do that one. That's not. Mm-mm. I'm gonna have to write it down and burn it because God forbid, in any situation, I don't want to be trying to explain nothing to no jury, no court, no lawyer, no nothing.
Okay. Right. I know
Mm-mm,
that's right. I
mm-mm.
feel
I
you
can't have that.
100% on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you 100% on that. You don't need to want to have to explain none of that to a jury.
Exactly. Listen, listen. I don't even know what I was thinking. I know what I was thinking and where I was, but I don't. Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want to be on the episode of For Your Love.
Right. I don't. Because
Yeah.
it's listen, to have other people as an artist, as a spoken word artist,
Yeah.
and you understand that when you get up there on that platform or you have a platform, you are sharing. But for
Yeah.
those people, for your audience that is like really dissecting what you're saying, like I tend to do that with music. If I'm in a certain vibe and I sit and I listen to like old school music and I'm like, dang, to have somebody trying to dissect that poem, no, they're gonna read way too much into the right field and miss the left all the way.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Yeah. I feel you on that. Absolutely. Um, North Philly's finest.
Yeah.
Um, when did you first fall in love with poetry?
I think my first love of poetry came from when I transitioned from being a rapper because I first started out as a rapper, and then poetry and rap is like synonymous. So it's like it's not really a hard transition. It's just moving from one medium to another medium that has a more, I guess you can say, more eclectic. You know what I mean? And I can't really say that because rap is eclectic too, but it has a more wider, more diverse voice to it. Um, and sometimes rap can be repetitive, but poetry itself is more wider. So I think that from that transition, that's where I first fell in love with poetry, man. I mean, like we had the greats like Amiri Baraka, Gil Scott Heron,
Mhm.
Langston Hughes, just to name a few. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I agree. One time for the love of poetry and one time for the love of true hip hop. True hip hop. Come
That's
on,
right.
show your love for it.
That's right. Fake hip
Yes,
hop got to go. True hip hop got to show.
right. Okay. Okay. Because my favorite poets are Lucille Clifton
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Langston Hughes, of course,
Yeah.
Maya Angelou, and Nikki Giovanni,
Yeah.
and Emily Dickinson, and the list goes on. But my tops are Langston Hughes and Nikki Giovanni and Lucille Clifton and Maya Angelou. Those are my tops right
Yeah.
there. For like, if there was like a poetic source magazine, those are my tops. They would get like 4 pens.
Absolutely. They
Because they're
incomparable.
iconic. Yeah,
Incomparable.
they're iconic. Also, for the folks out there in Facebook land, I'm on a device that I'm not able to see the comments, but just know you can type in your comments and I will read them later. Okay, Poessence, spoken word. What books of poetry would you recommend?
Being honest, I don't have any right now. Besides, like, from the artists that I enjoy, which a lot of you mentioned, with Nikki Giovanni and Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou, like anything from them. Um, you can't go wrong. Like, but to say like ones that I can recommend, those are the ones that I would go to. Those are my faves to go to. I don't really have any new artists that I've read, any new books that I've read, poetry books that I've read that have moved me. It's actually really hard for me. I'm more of an audio person or a live person. Um when I go into the bookstore, and I'll stop by the poetry section and I'll flip through and I'll just be like, nope, okay. This, I didn't see one that caught me, or it's a very large book and it's like, yeah, the poems just didn't catch me, so I didn't get it. So I always go back to Langston Hughes, Nikki Giovanni, or Maya Angelou.
Hmm.
Yes, those are the icons, the poetic greats. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes.
But the heavyweights.
yes. I always say I want to be an excellent poet like Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni because they're just phenomenal, phenomenal poets, phenomenal. Um, North Philly's finest. Who are your top five lyricists in hip hop? If there
Oh,
was a if there was a Source magazine, if it was still out, who would be your top five? Who would get the five mics?
oh man. Oh, whew. That's a huge list right there. I would have to say starting at number five would be Big Daddy Kane. Um, number
Yes.
four would be Rakim.
Okay.
Number three would be, oh my goodness, man, Method Man. I say Meth. Method.
Yes.
His lyricism, man, is just off the chain, man. It's crazy.
Wu
Uh,
Tang forever.
you know what
Sue.
I mean? Number two would be Fife Dog. He underrated, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you listen to
Very.
Fife, man, Fife is like he was like that premier MC right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
he didn't he got his billing with the tribe, but when he did solo, he didn't get the props I don't think he did that he deserved. So gotta give,
Yeah.
and number one would be rest in peace also to Guru. You know what I mean, from
Yeah.
Gangsta. Another underrated, man. You know what I'm saying? Those cats was just, I mean they weren't really underrated, but they was just like, I mean, not, like notable like most other cats, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Him and
Oh,
Premier, I mean,
finest. Yes.
that was, man. That they was just a match made in hip hop heaven, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Absolutely. Poessence.
Yes,
Same
yes.
question for you.
Oh
Who are
my
your top?
goodness. Say it again. I'm sorry.
said, who are your top 5 lyricists of hip hop? If the Source magazine was still on, who would get 5 mics from you?
Definitely Method Man.
Wu
I'm
Tang
I'm gonna
Forever.
throw one out there. Kevin Gates. Oh my goodness. I had like 5 in the top of my head, and they KRS-One.
Okay.
Right.
The
Um,
teacher.
Boom
The
bap.
teacher. The
yes,
teacher.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. DMX.
Oh
Gotta
my
Dark
dog.
Man
X in
X.
the air.
Dark Man X.
That's my
DMX
dog.
definitely went hard.
Yeah.
And Tupac for me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Tupac.
California love.
Yes, yes,
Oh
girl,
my.
yes. I had the Tupac book of poems. The first time I got it, I was like, wow. I sat on the bus and almost missed my stop because I
Yeah,
was all into
Yeah,
that book. The
that
Rose
cat
That Grew from Concrete. Yes, Tupac.
yeah.
Yes,
is deep.
yes. Whew. Oh man, that's getting me hype on. I'm about to listen to some DMX after this is over.
That did
That's
it,
my
did it,
dog.
did it,
My
did it,
dog.
did it. They
Yes,
don't know
that's my dog. Oh.
who we be. That was, oh my God.
They don't know.
That video was just, I mean, it was just crazy. It was just,
That song was hard.
yo, that thing was hard.
Yes. And off of his last album, Hood Blues, is my favorite song.
Okay, yeah,
Man,
yeah. Oh my God, man.
I'll be doing the ugly face to that. I'm like,
Yeah. I would actually have to add to Lil Wayne. If you
Oh,
listen, Lil Wayne definitely. You
mhm.
gotta yeah. Lil Wayne's
no,
lyrics is definitely, if you gotta get past some stuff, but you gotta really sit down and listen. I mean, it's the truth. It is the truth. But if you can listen to Tupac and you can listen to DMX, Lil Wayne is right in there too.
Yeah,
okay,
they're in that category.
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I can dig that. I can dig that. But yeah, DMX, that's my dog. Rest in peace. X in the
Yeah.
air.
Of course, of course.
Rest in
Dog.
power. Rest in
Love
power.
brothers. And I was saying on one of my other podcasts with Antoinette Gross and Kanisha Love Taylor. I was saying every time I hear a motorcycle, the first thing comes to my mind is the Rough Riders anthem. And I'm like, stop, stop, shut them down, open up shop. Oh,
Whoa,
oh.
oh,
As a
that's a
Rough
rough rider.
Rider.
Oh,
Every
yes.
time, I kid you not, every time I hear a motorcycle, I just start busting out with the Rough Riders anthem.
Yup. That was
For real.
absolute dope. Certified
Yes,
dope.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I wish I could have went to one of his concerts when he was alive, because man, that was my dog.
Oh,
That
you
was my
know, DMX didn't need a hype man. He was a hype man by himself.
right, right. Yes, absolutely. One love for real, true hip hop. One love, one love. And Wu
Always.
Tang forever. And Inspector Deck, he is very underrated because I was
Yeah,
listening to one of his albums and I was like, yes,
man.
yes.
Never, sometimes underrated, never overrated.
Right. I agree. Okay. North Philly's finest. If you could
I lost you for a minute.
oh, I said, if you could travel through any time period, what time period would you travel to and why?
Um, well, believe it or not, I would go back to like the civil rights era, between the 1950s and the 1960s. Um, Even though it was very tumultuous back then, I would love to have seen firsthand, speeches that was made by Malcolm X or by Martin Luther King while it were actually happening, not just seeing footage. You dig what I'm saying? And to actually be a part, more so than what I am today. I mean, to be a part of like the freedom rides, you know, um, the sit-ins, you know, being a part of a greater purpose, and and understanding that by putting yourself on the front lines like many of us did back then, will bring about change. And I think that along with that, you know that that change, a lot of us need to reflect upon. Some of us need to reflect upon it, but most of us don't, which is why we end up killing each other and doing other deplorable things to each other. But if people could do that, go back to those eras, like maybe even slavery days, to see firsthand how we suffered, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they can get a better idea of who they are.
Yes, very well put. Very well put. And with that being said, can you share another one of your pieces for us?
Sure, sure. I'm gonna give a love poem, and this is an excerpt from my book on Conversation Soul to Soul. It goes like this. It's called Above the Tides. Beautiful black sister, ever rising tide, essentially crashing upon my beach. Are you within my reach? Your Nefertiti royalty speaks volumes of soulful reminisce. I persist and insist you enrich my perspective, giving me comfort when all things fall apart. Cradling my heart in your tenacious touch, I am completely at ease. For you don't cease to release the innumerable tensions this brother deals with on the daily. You rule our kingdom carefully, lovingly addressing your king's silent needs. You proceed to exceed the euphoric, erotic celebration, causing deep meditation of longing sensations as I caress your body with deep concentration. Feeling the intense heat of your sweltering passion, sweetened every moment of our blessed union. Receiving the cocoa riptides of your rapture, come rest upon my beach.
Okay. Snap it up out there, Facebook land, YouTube land, whatever land you're in. Get that tea. Snap it up for North Philly's finest. And
Nice.
North Philly finest, what was the inspiration for that piece?
Again, like a lot of times, when I was in love, you experience a lot of different emotions, and you try to capture all of them. And so, as many times as I have been in love, sometimes you get that, that passionate, that head over heels, you can't stand to be without that person type of love, and then you get that love, that temporary satisfaction that is like it's not so much as physical, but it's like you think it's love, but it may just be, something that's passing for that time. But in all, you still can feel the raw emotion pouring from your heart into that other person, and hopefully it will be received and not deceived.
Mm, yes, that I felt that. I felt that. Yes.
Okay?
Back to you, Poessence, spoken word. Can
Yes,
you
yes.
share another poem with us, please?
Yes, yes, I can. Mm, this one is doesn't have the title, but here you go. Your privilege appears to be causing me a disadvantage. Stagnant in moving waters, the more I tread in your sandstorm, the more my wounds burn. Yearning for my muffles to be words, the only thing you're willing to comprehend is yes, sir. I'll do as you said. Dead man walking is the age revolution that you have planted. Seeds embedded in America's his his story told on repeat. We were never meant to be any more than the hands that feed your children, bearing witness to the time two brown skins can't can't congregate without it being a crime. Minds closed to the equality, even the possibility that we can all sit at one table and eat. Take a seat, my dear privilege. Those empty seats are all the Black people missed. Human rights only count when it's you and not them. Their lives didn't matter because he raised his voice in an uncompromising position. Resisting arrest, driving while Black, too fancy to drive a car like that. May I see your license and registration? Tricks to keep us occupied while you decide if we're really a threat to your disguise. Mind over matter. Black lives even matter.
Mm, mm.
Fist in the air. Two fists. Okay.
Oh man,
Two. Yes. Oh, yes. So, Poessence, what was the
solid.
inspiration behind that
Love that joint.
Hmm.
profound piece? Because that was, ooh, yes,
Thank you,
girl.
thank you. That just I rarely watch the news. I rarely watch the news. I'm over it. At this point, and it's gonna sound sad, but if I go on Facebook and I see it there, okay, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna keep going. Actually sitting and watching the news, it's depressing. Um,
It is.
Yeah,
and I wrote that piece, clearly it dated itself, but just the reoccurring situations, and it really touched me in a sense of just wanting to verbally express my outlook, my take on a lot of different situations, and experiencing some situations myself. um you see what it is when you see it, and when you experience it, it's even worse. So yeah,
yeah.
it was definitely what inspired me, was definitely the Black Lives Matter, and a lot of people trying to well, we're not saying, and having to constantly explain, like, yours matter just like ours do.
That's right.
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 Absolutely.
It's saying
100%.
that that magnifying glass that you have, that just doesn't seem to focus on what it is that we were actually saying.
Mhm.
That's where that poem came from.
All
That's
right.
that was
So
profound.
very
That was
profound.
Thank you.
So I managed to see one comment, and this is from Chantel Fitzgerald. Shout out to Chantel for watching. And she said that both poems were nice. The gentleman and the young lady enjoyed them both. Show your love for Poessence Spoken Word and North Philly's finest.
good.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chantel.
Okay. And
Much love.
shout out to Chantel
Much love.
Fitzgerald for um, joining us tonight. Yes. Okay, Poessence. What have you discovered about yourself poetically?
Mm, One of the things that I discovered about myself poetically was that a lot of times when I write, especially just writing, just letting it flow, a lot of times it won't make sense to me after I read it. But if I do this thing where I rearrange some things, um, it actually makes sense. And it's a little bit more in depth than taking the beginning verse and putting it at the end. I'll say that much. It's a trick that I do that tends to change the whole direction of a poem. Whether I read it my friends will tell you I read it frontwards and backwards. So that's one of the things that I realize, like, in poetry, the more well versed I become, it creates a total different tone.
Okay, snap it up.
Right. That's right.
Um, indeed, indeed. Um, Poessence, what are your best memories of performing your poetry?
Oh my gosh. So, one of the best memories that I have is the first time that I was at the October Gallery. It's the very first time I did spoken word, and I was nervous as ever. And I got up there and I said my poem, and the reception was just like, oh wow. And I was just like, oh wow. Like, okay, I'm finally in a circle with like-minded people. That was definitely one of my best memories. The second was the first time I performed at Dowling's Palace. Um that, to me, at that time when I started spoken word, it was like, it was the October Gallery, more intimate, a smaller crowd, to this was kind of going to Dowling's Palace and performing there was, like, I matured a little bit. I matured in my spoken word, and again, there I was received very, very well. My last memory that I can recall is they did a what was it? I want to say, oh my goodness, it was like an Apollo theme um, venue
Mhm.
down here in North Carolina, and at first I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't. I was like, not gonna do it. But the person that was heading it, she had did other shows, and when I first went in, I said, well, if you ever do any poetry shows, let me know. I'm gonna come, because I'm always looking for poetry shows in North Carolina. And she did one better. She did Wilmington at the Apollo, or the Apollo in Wilmington. And I went from, hey, I just want to come and be present, to, hey, being on the stage and doing some spoken word, which led to me doing it, working with her and her events, and doing spoken word in Wilmington. And that was kind of one of my other things that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring, I guess, Pennsylvania or Philly to North Carolina, and kind of be amongst people that like-minded people. I just never found the avenue at that point until the Wilmington and Apollo in Wilmington.
I feel you.
Oh,
Because when I first did mine, it was at the, well, actually, I'm gonna go back a little further. I was in this program um back in the day, and we had to stand in front and introduce ourselves, and tell everybody about ourselves. And I had extreme stage fright.
mm,
Like,
mm,
I got up there, my hands was sweating, face was sweating. um, I was just a complete mess, and I was talking so fast, no one understood not one word I said. And I sat back down, and they were looking like, what? So, Mr. Robert Mason, he was the, I guess what do you call it, the head teacher at the time. He was like, okay, we're gonna have to get you out of this. So he was like, I want you to read the newspaper to everybody every single day. And I was like, newspaper? I don't want to read no newspaper. That's all depressing and stuff. So I was like, well, I write poetry. Can I write, I do some of my poems? So he was like, sure. So I was like, okay. So I got up there and I did my poems, and everybody was clapping. I was like, wait, for me? Oh God, this for me? I'm getting all this applause. I'm like, okay, we to something right now. So after that, it was like, okay. And then when I joined the Precious Promise Art Circle back in 2003, and I always got to shout out my mentor, Miss Deborah Cheney, because if it wasn't for her, there would be no writer's block. So she had, I met her, and the New Brunswick Free Public Library was doing like an anthology. And so she was like, you're going to have to read your poems. And I was like, why, Gina, why? But I went up there and I did my thing, and people were clapping, and I was like, wait,
that's
we
right.
on? I'm here. I'm getting, being received. People showing me love again. I'm like, okay. And so then, she let me be a feature for one of the poetry readings, and then one of my good friends, may she rest in peace, Juanita, had came, and I was like, wow. I was like, people were sitting in the audience like, yes, and I was like,
They really
okay.
start to feel it.
Right. So after that, I was like, man, I like the stage thing. I was like, okay, okay. So like now, I get up on the stage and I just do my thing. Sometimes I'd be nervous, but then I just like, close my eyes and just, picture myself just doing my thing. And so I completely get it, Poessence. So yes, thank you for
I,
sharing that.
I could definitely relate.
Yes. We poets, we sensitive about our swit. SWIT, swit.
You
And
know, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my.
yeah, about my swit. I say swit.
Man, definitely.
I got a private joke about that. My friend said that I was hanging out with her because we used to hang out quite a bit back in the day. And we used to go to the buffets every now and then. And so we had went to this buffet. It was in East Brunswick.
Mm.
And they, the buffets have everything labeled. So they had something labeled. It was supposed to be sweet potato, but it was sweat potato. And so
Even I before E, except after C.
okay, right. So like after that, we like made that little joke. And so like then after that, I was like, okay, I can use that in place of saying the other words, so I don't have to be explicit. So I'm like, all right. So sometimes like, oh, that's some bull sweat, or what kind of dumb sweat?
That fits. That actually works, yo.
Yeah.
That
Or
actually
sometimes I'll do feng shui in place of the F bomb, and then I'll be like, what the feng, man? What in the absolute feng? So like I've like come up with like, creative words so that I don't have to use the actual explicit. That's been working for me.
word substitution.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I'm
get it?
my own little dictionary now.
What the funk?
Mm-mm.
The feng shui, man. What the feng? What the feng? The actual feng. Um,
Oh,
so, North Philly,
so,
what techniques or literary devices do you use in your poetry?
um, if you mean by in terms of like what like motivates my poetry, or what like what's the rhyme or reason, more or less. Um, I use a lot of jazz. I listen to a lot of jazz, and like I listen to like Miles Davis, or I might listen to John Coltrane, especially Train, and it gives me that. I mean, it gets the juices flowing, man. It just gets my it gets my mind just and thoughts spinning, and then I start dwelling deep into my consciousness and pulling out all these words that just come, and you be like, man, and you just can't write them down fast enough. So like, if jazz be my muse, then jazz is my muse, definitely real jazz, not that elevator, you're waiting to go to the 15th floor for an appointment type jazz. I'm talking about that quintessential jazz.
I feel you on that. Yeah, jazz has inspired a couple of my poems too. I have a poem called "The Jazz Procession." So
Mm,
yeah, but usually hip hop mostly with
yeah,
my poems, but every now and then I get that jazz vibe, and and I'll sit down and write a poem. And I absolutely love Sade. That's like my auntie. I never had like my auntie in my head. Love me some Sade. Yes,
yeah. You need to go on tour. Seriously.
yes. Love me some Sade. So Poessence, back to you. What was the best advice that you were given about following your dreams?
Hmm. It's definitely one I have to think about. The best advice that I was given about following my dreams.
Hmm.
Um, Plan.
Okay.
Definitely one of the best pieces of advice that I was given, as far as following my dream. I got a lot of them, so so it's, gotta sift through whichever one I'm following at the moment. As far as poetry was concerned, don't be boxed in.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Don't box yourself in. Be comfortable. You were comfortable enough to write it. Be comfortable enough to speak it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Right.
Absolutely. Right
Right.
on.
Let it
Okay,
flow.
so back into the comments, we have author Debbie D. She says she got dropped, but thank you for the event. Chantel Fitzgerald says, funny but nice. You became more confident and more good at it. I love spoken word, uplifting expression. Often folks relate. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you. I mean, Chantal, excuse me. And that is it for the comments. At least what I can see of the comments. And again, don't forget to share this, like, heart, and share. And those who are going to watch, don't forget to type replay in the comment section and like, heart, and share, and share, and share. We having a good time tonight. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but we being breezy tonight.
But the
Right,
pace has definitely
Poessence?
picked up.
And North Philly, you being breezy. It's
Yep.
all breeziness. All
Man,
breeziness.
the pace
Yes.
definitely picked up. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ain't how you
Because,
start, it's how you finish.
right. You better say it. Say it again, man,
You know
for
what I
the
mean?
people in the
It ain't
nosebleed
how you
section.
start, it's how you finish.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. 'Cause we breezy now. We breezy.
Definitely, definitely breezy.
Yes, absolutely. We are filled in our breeziness. Okay. So North Philly. Um, what are your goals as far as poetry is concerned?
Um, to be the best, be one of the best writers I can be. It's like I said, as far as like my predecessors, that like the greats that y'all mentioned, like Maya Angelou, um, Nikki Giovanni, like Gil Scott Heron, like I mentioned, Langston Hughes, Gwendolyn Brooks, June Jordan. Many of those were just greats. They were just, and Langston. I mean, again, Langston Hughes, one of the greats, and
Mm,
those are really big shoes to fill. And I'm not trying to fill those shoes. I'm just trying to find my own spot. Like many poets just find their own spots. We find our own niche to dig into, and we center on that, and then we expound on it, and then we expand on it, and then it becomes who we are. And so again, once it gets out to the people, and and they enjoy it, they receive it, it's a satisfying thing, especially for me, to see people really just dig what you're saying, man. You know what I'm saying? Just
mhm,
you see the excitement in their eye. You see the, ooh, wow, can't believe she said that. Can't believe he said that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
mhm,
and
mhm,
it stimulates their mind's growth. I mean, because sometimes things in this life can stagnate us, but poetry, in my opinion, allows that stagnation to diminish.
Yes, very well said. I could not have said that better. Yes. Snap it up. Yes.
Snap, 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 snap.
Snap, snap.
Yeah.
Okay. Poessence, back to you. What advice would you give up and coming poets and spoken word artists?
It's okay to admire the greats, but walk your own path.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna need you to
Yeah.
say it again for the people in the balcony.
It is okay to admire the greats, but walk your own path. I
Absolutely.
think that, like you were saying earlier about the grace and the poise of Maya Angelou. One of my things, which she was the first poet that I had ever read of, I wanted to sound like her. And that was one of the things that hindered me from really getting into the spoken word aspect of it, because I didn't feel like I sounded like her, and I wasn't going to be great if I didn't sound like her, you know. Again, when I got on the stage and I was like, oh, and the reception, I sound like me. And yes, I can write, and we are our biggest critics. So oftentimes it is never good enough. It is not ready. I need to rewrite it again, flip, do whatever, start over sometimes. But getting up there and performing it and understanding that you felt it, you felt it, you put imagery to it, you put punctuation to it. And when you get up there and you do it, don't try to strive to sound like anybody else but yourself.
So, yep.
Right. True words. Very, very true words.
Yep.
Okay, Poessence. With that being said, can you share a last and final poem for the night with us and all the
Um,
listeners out there?
yes, I can.
Go on and dig in them
Mm,
crates, girl. Dig in them crates.
Listen, I
In the
I listen. Listen, it's some stuff like that other poem we was talking about earlier. It's got to stay over there. We got to do that on another channel. It's a little different. Um, Let me see. Okay, all right. This is another one. This is a color. Is this the color you see? Then you don't see me. Why? I'm the outline that contains substance, the lines that keep the structure, yet you don't see me. Is this the color that you see? Those white lines set upon my dark frame, do you see me? If you only see bright colors, then you miss the boldest shade of all. When the night falls, I'm the background that captured it all. Do you see me? What shade do you see? I'm the foundation that your feet stand on, weak and unsteady, but we stand strong. What color do you see? Bold yet subtle, but my shade is ignored until you need a mold to be formed. I'm the basin that separates the river that runs. We navigate through the lands, yet you only see the green leaves. Do you see me? I'm the protector in the daylight that follows you and comforts you at night. Do you see me? The moon rests upon my shoulders, yet my strength is ignored. My wills are what carry you, yet you're focused on the rims, and you still missed that I am the outline. Cracked, tattered, and torn, I am the thread that holds it together. Do you see me? I'm comfortable in this skin that I'm in, yet my self-esteem offends you. I am here and refuse to let you keep dismissing me. What color do you see? I see me. I'm a beautiful combination of everything that your world needs. In peace.
Yes, girl. Woo! I felt that in my shanana. All up and through it. Okay. All up and through my shanana. I felt that, girl. Yes. Uh-huh. In my DMX voice. Uh-huh. Okay. Whew. Child.
Hey,
Yes. Mm. Whew. Girl. Okay. Shoot. I gotta do a shoot on that one. Okay. Like the 11 O's up in that one. Shoot. Okay. Yes. Whew. All right. Back to you, North Philly's finest.
yeah, I missed some of that, man. Like I said, the technical difficulties was just hit me hard, man.
I, man, listen, it's been real with the tech difficulties tonight. It's been
Yes.
real.
Yo, I'm trying to
But
tell you.
but we breezy, we
Yeah.
breezy. Yes. So North Philly's finest, can you do another final poem for us tonight on this Saturday night, the second week of October?
Well, most definitely, I can round this out with a joint called "A Moment of Silence." I think you're gonna love this one. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of an ode to hip hop in itself. But dig this. I pray that one day hip hop will evolve from just rapping about getting drunk, glorifying violence, and exploiting those barely dressed video hoochies who pop their coochies, telling little girls to aspire to be groupies, misguiding young boys that it's cool to be gangsters and hoodlums, instead of utilizing the vast potential in them. Music corporations corrupting the youth using black exploitation Sambo methods, further spreading the epidemic of ignorance deep into our community's social conscience. I'm not implying that we shouldn't aspire to live our dreams and enjoy the fruits of our success. Though, if I were to guess, our greatest ambitions have dwindled from progressive cultural elevation to self depreciation and low expectations. We returned ourselves to being merchandise at a slave auction, selling ourselves short, getting ready to sweat blood at masters' prison plantations. Because even though the feds is watching, always dropping indictments, ready to arrest, convict, and very quickly send yourself to the land of the lost and forgotten, some continue to worship drug dealing and thugging instead of community rejuvenation and cultural elevation. But y'all don't hear me though. For some continue to degrade our mothers, sisters, wives, and daughters, treating them no better than common whores, selling themselves at a bargain. And still, some continue to live niggardly, always ready to kill somebody who most of the time has the same color skin as you or me. They are unconsciously eradicating our race almost single handedly, being driven by the lust of blood money. This is why Pac and Biggie were ambassadors of the streets, because they reflected a tale of two cities, showcasing real ghetto stories instead of sugarcoating the truth with cosmetic paper thug fantasies we repeatedly see on videos and TV. Believe me, hip hop needs more commentary from Chuck D and more intellectual philosophy from KRS One of BDP. Or so are we b-boy battles to the smartest degree? Or will we continue to bow down to the commercialized greed which has sown seeds of corruption in the minds of the day's troubled youth? I speak youth, I speak truth. For when I was younger, hip hop was the oxygen I breathed. B-boy was the language I spoke. And to this day, I dig a lot of these new folks, although some of the lyrical content, quote unquote, tend to keep us hanging by our throats. I give mad respect to those who feel this, but there are many malnourished minds who are hungry for this crucial syllabus. There are many empty souls who would love to see you renege on the words I've entreated. But like Malcolm X once said, the one nice thing about silence, it cannot be repeated.
Oh yes. That was fire, son. I had to say it in
Thank,
my Frasier Star voice. Fire, son, with like
thank,
five N's. Son.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, snap it up. With North Philly's finest. Okay, North Philly's finest. What do you want the takeaway to be from tonight's podcast?
For all up and coming poets, or you're not just an up and coming, you're already a poet. You just haven't maybe found your platform. You haven't really found a place to express yourself. I would encourage all those who are becoming poets, or just finding your voice, to continually just keep challenging yourself, just keep doing more in your poetry, keep learning more about yourself, look at the things around you and interpret life the way you see it, paint the picture the way you perceive it, and then go out there and give it to the world, and just continually be uplifting to others, man. That's the motivational thing we should all go after.
All right now. And also, can you tell people how they can reach out to you? They want to book you for a performance. Are you available for? Because I know I'm available for birthday parties, anniversaries, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs.
I know it.
Okay.
I mean,
So, let the folks know if you're available for bookings and how they can reach out to you.
most definitely. So here's the 411, and also a plug. So, if you're in the Philadelphia area, or if you're not, if you're from the Philadelphia area, you know where South Street is at. I'm having a book signing November the 9th, and that is a Saturday, at Black and Noble Bookstore. It's a black-owned joint, so support black-owned businesses as well. And as far as getting in contact with me, you can look on my Facebook page under North Philly's Finest and drop a line. And if you want me to, do some appearances, what I'm saying, I'm available for that. You can also get me on my personal email, which is xman68757 at gmail.com. And lastly, you can look up my book, me and Cheryl Brandon's book, Conversations Soul to Soul, on exhibris.com, also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You can look it up and order yourself a copy. And if, like I said, if you're in Philly, come to Black and Noble on Fourth and South in Philadelphia, PA, for a book signing. It's gonna be fun. I'm doing some performances. Hopefully we have some food within the budget, because a brother's balling on a budget. So
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
I
but
understand.
it's
I
gonna be a nice
understand.
outing if you want to come out and enjoy some spoken word for real.
All right. Well, dynamite. And are there any other shout outs that you would like to give?
Yeah, to my partner Cheryl Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully she'll catch this podcast. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for, for just collaborating with me. Doing this masterpiece that we put together for the people, and hoping that the people enjoy it. And also, first and foremost, to you, Miss Kier, for giving me a second chance to be on the most fabulous show ever created by yourself. Much love. Also to your other guests that were on, I think it was last week, James Ellerby, with that poem that was just
Oh, yes.
devastating. That was the livest poem. That
Shout
was
out
the
to
livest poem.
James Ellerby. Yes.
Shout out to
And
James
Orlando
Ellerby.
Chandler.
Marvel forever, man. Marvel forever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. And shout outs also to Orlando Chandler, who has named me Topra.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes. Oprah. Yes,
Yes, Topra.
Oprah. I mean,
Oh, Poessence. Back to you, ma'am. Um, how can people reach out to you? Are you available for bookings, bat mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs, Kwanzaa, birthday parties, anniversary parties? Let the
Yes,
people
yes, yes,
know.
yes, yes. Within North Carolina, yes, yes, yes. I'm not gonna do too much traveling, but yes, I can be reached on Poessence Spoken Word. That's my Facebook, uh, Instagram, Poessence Spoken, Poessence 81. Um, you can definitely inbox me, and we can have a good conversation. Um, Let me see what else. I think that's about it. The two platforms that I'm on right now. Um, as far as any venues or anything coming up, nope, I don't have any just yet. I'm still creating. Me and another artist are working on a poetry book that's taking forever.
Oh,
Only
I understand.
because
I'm still working
just
on mine.
listen. We have been working on this for the longest, and we do writing prompts, do all of that. And it's one of the hardest things, which I would love to get feedback on. One of the hardest things, because we were trying to do at least um, anywhere between 25 and 50 poems a
mhm.
piece.
Mm.
But it's so hard. It's hard to find the ones that you feel like this should go in the book, that should stay for, let them get to like me first before I confuse them. Um,
Can I say this to you, for instance, that
Sure,
Like with me and
sure.
Cheryl, if I can give any input for you, me and Cheryl, we started on a venture. Like we would actually we actually was trying to go with each other at one time, but my schedule was conflicting, and her schedule was conflicting. But we still managed to kept messaging each other, writing poetry to each other. That
Mm-hmm.
was over a year. Yeah, I mean, worth of poetry, and then when we kept trying, we kept trying. Some people just we just are not meant to be. Maybe just meant to be friends instead of lovers. But we
Mm-hmm.
still found love within the poetry. And next thing
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, boom, we look back on everything we did like, yo, this is dope. Yo, it was dope. And then we just said, man, we just said, why don't we just do a collaboration? We do this, blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, boom. It took us a year to do that. So I was just saying, what I mean, just have patience, it's going to come.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I'm my worst critic. Um, my partner, as far as like spoken word, Blue Fox, like she's very patient. She's very like, oh, we'll do it here, and oh, okay, like I love it, and I'm like, that's not working for me because I didn't like how that sounded. I need to fix it. Like I'm learning to get to that point where I'm like, okay, you know what, that read well. I'm just tripping because I'm expecting or trying to fill something again with the Maya Angelou situation. Like I want it to read like hers, but it's not supposed to read like hers. It's supposed to be read, but not read like hers. This is your work,
Mm-hmm.
and you wrote it. Be confident in it. So that's it's more so probably me than it is her, but making sure, and definitely life is lifing, so you don't get a chance to really write as much. Um but yeah, we hopefully by next year, and the next time that we all get to combine together, I can say like we got our book done.
That's gonna
I
be
know
fun.
that's right.
That's gonna
Because
be dope. That's gonna be
I'm
definitely
still
dope.
online, still online. And shout
Did
out to Antoinette Gross, one of my guests that I had on previously, because she did the artwork for some of my poems. So shout outs to her.
snap?
Yes. And I like to also give a shout out to my mentor of the Precious Promise Art Circle, Miss Deborah Cheney. Because again, if it was not for her, there would be no writer's blog. It just wouldn't be a writer's blog without her. So I always got to give her a shout out and a thank you for her believing in me to even do the writer's block, of which I'm trying to start back up the open mics in person. So anybody out there who's watching in the Central Jersey area, I'm looking for a space, preferably Highland Park, New Brunswick, maybe Edison, 'cause sister don't have a car, so I got to be able to get there. Well, I'm looking for a space so I can return back to doing the open mics in person because I miss that. I miss the other poets coming together, showing each other love. I miss all that interaction. And shout outs also to the writer's block in general, Henry and Taria Busby, Jacquees Armstrong. Rest in peace to Bernice and Bagdawa. She will always be remembered, never forgotten. Writer's block always. And also, rest in peace, shout out to my dear friend Isis Originale, who gave the writer's block its name. Writer's Block, long live the Writer's Block. Shout outs to Bread is Rising Poetry Collective in New York City. Angel Martinez and the top dog of the Bread is Rising, Carlos Duflar, and all the other writer's block supporters, because it's a lot and we don't have that kind of time to name. So shout outs to them and shout outs to everybody who tunes in on a weekly basis to show live with Mz KIR some love. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And shout out to the Small Business Network peeps, Commissioner Dr. James McConnell, Indigo Divine Brown, um, Gladys Bryce, Shannon Hudson, Sean A. White, Trinity, little Trinity Davis, her mother Latanya Davis, Cassandra Pickett, and all the others. And thank you, Poessence Spoken Word. Yes, Poessence.
What's love?
North Philly's finest. Thank you so
Oh,
much. And all my other previous guests, Orlando Chandler, James Ellerby, Antoinette Gross, Kanisha Love Taylor, T Noodle, my daughter, the the old retired poet with the young soul, Karaja Yashar, Dami Afuye, who will be back on in a couple of weeks, Genevieve Powell. Genevieve, where you at, girl? Shout outs to her. Me and Genevieve, we go way back. She's gonna be on soon. Delicia Roberts, she's gonna be on soon. Shout out to my cousin Scott Jacob. He's gonna be on soon. He's gonna inspire because he's got a story to tell. I'm not just saying that because he's my cousin, but he do. And shout out to the rest of my family. Oh, my mom, who usually watches in Virginia. And that's about it. So I just want to thank everybody for showing love and for showing my guests love tonight. Give yourselves a hand.
also the Dami Afume. That's my man.
Oh yeah, Dami, he's that dude. He's gonna be back on in a couple of weeks to share his testimony and all of that good stuff. Yeah, shout out to Dami. Oh, and shout out to Latasha Jimerson. How could I forget her? Latasha Jimerson. She's awesome sauce. She's a teacher and a writer, and hopefully she'll be on because she was supposed to be on my very first podcast, but I was having serious technical difficulties then. But yeah, shout out to Latasha Jimerson. She rocks. And hopefully she will be able to come on soon. And Shanine Young. Yes. Shanine was the host of the August Pajama Writing Summit online. Janine was the real MVP, the real MVP. She's a great, great MC. So shout outs to her. And hopefully she'll be on soon too. And anyway, that's it for the shout outs. Thanks to everybody again. And until next time, this is Live with Ms. KIR via SBN, the Small Business Network, episode number 316 and episode number 8 of Live with Ms. KIR. Thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for more. And until then, be breezy. Peace.
Peace.